Let's stay focused. Hello, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Prevail with Justice. I know I missed the week. Thank you so much for being patient with me. I have something good. I have something good. Are you ready? I hope you're ready. Get your notebook out, your notes, your whatever, all of the things. Okay, get something to drink and something to take notes with. I really think this is going to be a good one. So, last episode, we discussed being in our this doesn't work for me era. I really hope that you've been practicing your ways to say no. And if you are listening and you have said no and it was hard, let me know in the comments that you said no because that is a celebration. It is so hard to do, but I'm already so proud of you. Even if you don't leave a comment, baby, I know you watching. So I'm proud of you for saying no. I also mentioned that we need something to weigh our opportunities against so that we can stay in alignment with our goals, right? I told you to have a goal, have a hobby, have something that you have going on goal wise so that you can weigh whatever projected opportunity, be it an invitation or whatever. You can see if it aligns with where you're going. You can see if it aligns with who you want to be. So, with that being said, a lot of us think about our dream life, right? We desire this life of our dreams. We want to have it, but it's not enough just to want it. It is something that you have to work on quietly, consistently, faithfully. And you're not working on it for applause. You're not working on it for approval. You're working on it for alignment. You're working on it for alignment. And that's the key, being in alignment. So, with that being said, the title of this episode is I'm working on something. I'm working on something. And listen, secrets, secrets are going to be shared today. They're not really secrets, but they're really keys that work that a lot of people sleep on. So, what you do behind the scenes determines what's seen. You see what I'm saying? So, the work behind the dream happens in the unseen. It happens behind closed doors. It happens when no one is watching, right? But there's always somebody watching. God is watching. And that is what determines what your public appearance is going to look like, how you've performed in private. But I want to share a quote with you all that I heard by Napoleon Hill. I was watching this video on YouTube, and it was a speech by Napoleon Hill about how you know you're on a path to wealth, right? And this one particular quote stood out to me. It says, "You no longer talk about goals, you talk about systems because systems produce. Goals inspire, but systems build. Goals inspire, but systems build." And that stood out to me so much because over the last few months, I have been consistently working on systems, consistently working on my habits, working on my routines so that I can have the life of my dreams, the life that I know I was created to live and not settle for safe. And systems is a huge part of that. Like, all summer I'm like, okay, systems, like let's put it in place. Systems, routines, let's put them in place, right? So with that being said, we're in a waiting game right now. Yeah, we are in a waiting game. Shout out to all my women in waiting. Your promise is coming, but when it comes, it needs something to live in. It needs something to live in. Your promise is coming, but it needs something to live in. And when I was thinking about systems, I was thinking about building, and I'm thinking about my own personal journey with the weight that I'm enduring right now, the path that I'm walking currently as I'm just moving and just saying yes when God says to move, and the thing that I'm preparing for. Like, I've seen this promise, right? But I don't know how long it's gonna take for me to receive it. I don't have an ETA. I just know it says package shipped. That's it. Package shipped. I know what the package looks like. I know what the package is. I know what this like promise, this future, this hope, like I know what that is. I don't know when it's going to be delivered, but I'm preparing a place for it for when it comes. And as I was thinking about that and I was crafting this message, I immediately thought of Noah. What if Noah had not built the ark But the rain still came, the flood still came. He knew the flood was coming, but he made his meantime have purpose by habitually working on something, right? He was working on the ark. Now, I did a little bit of research because, baby, I am by no means a Bible scholar, and I'm not a Bible scholar, okay? But I am getting deeper into my word the more that I live. Amen. So with that being said, I did some digging. I like to ask questions. I want to know why, I want to know how long, I want to know who, all of the things, right? So I was like, dang, I wonder how long it took for Noah to build an ark. And it said that when I was doing my digging and my research, I found that there's no definite amount of time that it took for Noah to build the ark, but it happened sometime within 100 years, right? Noah's sons came at 500 years. The flood took place at 600 years. So somewhere between that time frame, he got instruction, command from God to build the ark. But if he did not have a system and a routine in place and always working, he's making progress every day to build this ark. Y'all, do you know how big an ark is? I don't even know how big an ark is. I know how big a cruise ship is, and that's huge. Building a boat alone, baby, some of us, it takes us days just to put together a bookshelf, some drawers, a bed frame. Imagine an ark, and we get frustrated in 30 minutes putting together furniture. Imagine an ark, right? So if he had children, he had a wife, at some point, like, he had to develop a system. He had to have a routine because he still has to work during this time, right? He has to have a system. He has to have a routine, but he needed to be constantly making progress and working on something so that he could be completed by the time the promise was fulfilled. You see what I'm saying? So let's get to the nitty gritty. Okay, I have a couple points, really 3 points that I want to touch on to help us to build systems. Some These are things that I have learned. These are things that I'm still working on because I'm working on perfecting my consistency. That is something that I struggle with. But through this process, I've been getting better with time, right? Because soft starts still count. So, number one, first point is that the hidden work matters more than the highlighted reels. We see so much like on the screen. We think we need to see it to know what's happening, but that's not the truth. What happens in private determines how you appear in public. So the way that you train determines how you're going to perform at game time. Are you showing up to your workouts? Are you showing up for the scrimmage? Are you showing up for the practice games? Are you going to practice? Are you applying yourself in practice as if this is the real thing? Because if not, you're cheating yourself. You're shorting yourself. And that applies in every aspect of life. How are you training for your career? How are you studying? How are you training for fitness? How are you disciplining yourself? How are you training for your relationship? Are you studying your partner? Are you studying your person? Are you studying yourself? The way that you study, the work that you do behind closed doors determines how you are going to perform at game time. That even goes for spirituality, that goes for knowledge, awareness of self. You got to study to show thyself approved, and is biblical for a reason, right? Because in all ways, we must study, we must learn, we must be constant students of life in order to perform when it is time to do so. And in the game of life, baby, it's game time every day. You got to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. All right. And that's what we're here to talk about today. The hidden work is what matters more than the highlighted reel. So when you're thinking about this life that you want to live, what are your routines? That's the framework. You see what I'm saying? That is the blueprint for what you're doing. It is the framework, it is the foundation. What you do in private, what you do every day. And that leads me to my second point, which is systems reduce decision fatigue. Now, listen, when you have automated systems, it allows you to free up space in your mind to work on other things in other ways. I I don't know if it was the pandemic or what, but like before the pandemic, I was so organized. I had systems, I had routines, all of these things. The pandemic happened and it just like threw off my brain. And I've been recovering for like a little bit of time now, right? If you have gone to college, if you have been like in grade school or whatever, once you break that flow, that system, the demand of having to show up somewhere, you're kind of constantly asking, what am I supposed to be doing right now? Even in life, a lot of times we find ourselves, what am I doing? What's happening right now? Where am I going? Right? Those questions happen all the time. So if you're thinking that about life, what more about the smaller micro scale decisions that you need to make? If you're always wondering what you're going to eat for dinner, if you're always wondering what you need to do when you wake up in the morning, if you're always wondering, how am I going to this? Who's going to do? Baby, I'm tired for you. Okay. All right. So we need systems. We need to take a moment and create a framework that will help us to free more space in our minds so that we can create, so that we can build, so that we can cut the camera on, so that we can focus more on the micro things that have longer term effect. So, of course, I'm talking about this systems, and you're probably like, I'm all over the place right now. I don't even know where to start. I'm going to help you. I was there as well. The first step for creating these automated systems is to establish non negotiables. Establish non negotiables for your day. For me, that looks like some form of exercise. I need to read my Bible. I need to pray. I need to listen to a sermon. Like, I got to have a faith piece in there. I have to have some movement. Movement, faith. I have to eat balanced. Okay. And I have to like listen to I have to read a book, like I have to consume some form of like knowledge. Those are the four things that I absolutely have to have in order to be like my best self, and of course be hydrated. Those are the five things that I really really need in order to show up, in order to perform. I'm not going to include water, but systemically, like those are the four bases. I need movement, I need faith, I need babe, I don't forgot already. Movement, faith, information. We're going to leave it at those three, okay? Movement, faith, education. um I need those things. I need that. I can feel it when I don't have it. I'm off balance. Those are my non-negotiables for my day. So with that being said, when you're first starting out, do your best to check those boxes, whatever those non-negotiables are for you. Make sure that you prioritize them. All right. And I used to do this thing called eat the frog first, right? It's a common phrase, but it works. It is tried and true. Eat the frog first. If you hate working out, do your workout first thing in the morning. Simple. Eat the frog first. Do the hard thing first. Do the nasty thing first. Do the one that just repulses you, that you're most likely to run away from. Do that at the start of your day. That way you don't have to think about it anymore. It's not a decision that you can procrastinate on. You're going to go ahead and get it done. All right. And then from there, you're going to create a list for the rest of the things to check it off of your list. But your goals for your non negotiables need to be things that align with your goals, with the framework for this life of your dreams. If you want to be a millionaire, a billionaire, like you have to be exercising your mind. You have to, right? It's non negotiable. And 9 out of 10, if you want to be happy, you want to be healthy, you want to be successful, you got to move your body. Like it just goes hand in hand. But if health is a goal for you and is a priority, focus on that. Let that be a part of your non negotiables. So once you have established your non negotiables, you are then going to create concrete routines that align with your goals. All right. Those are your morning routines. Those are your night routines. Those are like what you do in your commutes to and from work. Like if you're still going into work, what you do on your lunch break, right? Those routines that even a flow for the week. That's what you're going to use your non negotiables and your goals to create a framework for. And the way that I heard someone give this analogy and I absolutely loved it. You want to, when you're thinking about your night routine, you want to think of it as if you are the closer at your job. If you are closing down, when you come into work the next day, how would you want to feel? What would you want already done? What are you going to do to set yourself up for success the next day or on your next shift, right? Think about it like that. So for me, at night, Like I have to wind down. I can't just go from doing a bunch of things and just get into bed. That doesn't work for me. I need to wind down. Now, every day I don't do this long, dramatic wind down. Like I don't do that every night. But one thing that I will do is I will journal or read a book. Like I will read or I will journal just about every night. If I don't have the mental capacity to do that, I will listen to meditation music until I fall asleep. And I will do that for about 10 minutes before I actually decide, all right, it's time to go to bed. But leading up to that, I need to take my magnesium. I drink some tea. Like I have to dim the lights in my space. Like I need no overhead lighting. That starts my brain to shift into night mode because I'll keep going. I'll keep going. Like I don't know what type of brain the Lord gave me, but like it's always going. I'm always thinking. So I have to have an environmental trigger to make myself shut down. And that is getting rid of overhead lighting. I will put on lamps, I will have candles. That signals me to start winding down. I will drink some tea. I will take some magnesium. That is my internal nervous system. Step two, phase two, we're winding down. And then from there, I will wind down my mind. I will read something. I will journal. I will listen to my rain sounds or whatever, my brown noise. I love it. It helps me go to sleep. Boom. That way, I'm setting myself up for some good rest so I can be ready in the morning, right? In theory, I'm going to get back to the place where I'm writing down like my schedule for the next day ahead of time, right? Like that's something else. Like that's my phase two of my systems to reduce decision fatigue is knowing what I need to do like ahead of time, more specifically, right? I have a framework now, but I mean like detail hour by hour. Okay, we're getting there. Soft starts still count. So after you've developed your concrete routine, like say you need to get up in the morning, take your vitamins, put your vitamins by like, I don't know, like I make protein coffee. So now for me, when I get up in the morning, I drink water. My water's right by my bed. Like I can't turn off the alarm until I grab my water. I drink some water, turn off the alarm, and then I get up, do my things, and then I fix my coffee. As my coffee's brewing, I'm doing hygiene and I'm already listening to worship music. That sets the tone for the day for me. And after I drink my protein coffee, I eat and take my vitamins. Then I go on with the rest of the day. That way, I've already done the thing that I'm more than likely going to forget, but it has the biggest long term effect. Taking my vitamins, prioritizing my health. I've already gotten my protein in, and now I'm waking up my brain. Simple. Like those types of things, right? You want to create a framework and a foundation for success. And I kind of touched on this a little bit, but the third thing is you want to create checklists and organize your week. Know what your day looks like. Put everything in the calendar, in your notes, on your planner. Like, I love a good planner. Know, be able to see what you need to do and where you need to show up so that you can already have that in place and you can prioritize around that. You can work around the demands of life, right? It's going to make it easier for you. And so once you already have an outlook of what your week is going to look like, you can customize your systems, your routines to be able to already have them in place so you don't have to think about it. You see what I'm saying? So that moves me to number three, which is discipline is a form of freedom. We often think of like doing things that require discipline as like this poison, but honestly, discipline and routines are avenues to abundance. When you already have things set in place, you have a routine, you already know what you're going to do, right? You're doing the non negotiables, you're doing the hard things without thinking about it. It's automated. That way, you have more space to do other things. You have more time to do other things. If you go ahead and knock out your workout earlier on in the day, you got the rest of the day to like whatever, to frolic, to do whatever. You've already hit your goal. You've already done the things. Simple. If you already, if, and speaking of finances, if you go ahead and pay all of your bills, you go ahead and allocate all of your funds right when you get the money, you can do what you want to do with what's left over. You pay your tithes, you pay your bills, you allocate your funds to this and that, whatever your goals are. The rest, you can do whatever you want to do with. Those are avenues of abundance. Abundance is when you have capacity to go beyond and you're not bound to one way of being. You're not muzzled. If you go ahead and pay the bill, you don't have to live the next however long till with like, oh, let me not spend this, let me not spend that because XYZ. If you go ahead and do it up front, you don't have to think about it anymore. Now you're like, okay, I can go do this thing. I can go do that. Maybe you can't. Maybe you need to go make some more money, but you can see, and that creates more possibility for you. Visibility creates opportunities for more. You can see what's going on. If you want to grow, if you want to shrink, you have the choice to do that. That's abundance, having options. You can see, you're able to make a move, right? So the sooner you automate the necessary habits, the closer you will get to the goal. Discipline is not punishment. It's simply allowing yourself to be prepared for the thing that you're working towards. Imagine if Noah didn't get up and go work on that ark. They probably would have been wiped from the land. Imagine that. Like, huh? What if he didn't do the thing? And of course, I'm using Noah because that's a common story. We know about Noah, we know about the ark, and then we know about the rainbow that followed because he followed it through. The thing that you're waiting on, the thing that you want, it's coming to you, whether you're ready or not. But your preparation is going to determine the longevity and the fullness of the promise when it comes. So why not be ready? Why not be prepared? Why not do the hard thing? You have to choose your hard. And so many times we're like, oh, I like being comfortable. Our brains are wired for comfort. We go into panic mode when we're uncomfortable, but that's where growth is. Growth is in the discomfort. Growth is in the showing up even when you're not motivated to do said thing. It's in the discipline, it's in the routines that are uncomfortable, that don't feel good, that don't give our brains massages, but when we're done with it, we feel accomplished. That mind is a powerful thing. Impress it correctly, and you'll get where you want to go. So, with that being said, the goal here is consistency and measurable results. And I have here in my notes that boring scales. This is a phrase that I say to myself all the time when I find myself bored with like my routines, or I'm just like, oh, another day, like I got to do this thing, or like when I'm practicing these automated systems, it doesn't always feel good. It starts off like, oh yeah, like I'm in the lab, I'm locked in, da 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 da. It sounds good on week one, but week two is like, nah. In week three, life is happening and you're really challenged to see how bad you want this thing. But boring scales. What does that mean? That boring scales. Things that are repeatable are dependable. If you create a system, you now have something that you can follow through with every transition. Anywhere you go, you have a routine, you have a framework, and you're able to use it. Anywhere you go, it's repeatable. If you lose everything, you can rebuild if it's repeatable because it's measurable and it got you results, right? If you know that something works and it gets results that you want to see, why would you not keep doing that thing? Why would you not do it? If you know that when you read, you feel better having conversations, or you have more confidence when you do certain things, why wouldn't you keep doing them? That doesn't make sense to me. So do the thing that works. Keep doing the thing that works. And I'll give you an example of something that is a way that I've scaled a habit in my life. I told you all before, I believe in a couple episodes ago, that I had my small little mini lock in, and I focused on getting my faith in, my 30 minutes of movement and my mindset mastery, right? I did that every single day. So I have been able to scale just 30 minutes of movement, which 9 out of 10 at that season, it was just walking or stretching, like as long as I moved, right? Like that was the goal. But now I'm so used to movement happening for at least 30 minutes every day. Now I can focus on intensifying my workout. Now I can focus on specific body goals. It's now movement is already a habit. Now it's just the intensity and the depth in which I'm moving and expressing that movement. You see what I'm saying? Like it's scalable. So if I stop working out intensely, I know that if I go back to moving for 30 minutes every day, I'll be able to build up again to the point of intensifying my workout. I hope that makes sense. That's a small like thing. I went from reading like just a verse of the Bible a day to like reading chapters. And guess what? Life happened. I was doing a whole bunch of moving around. I lost my rhythm. But because it was a system and it was a routine, I felt the lack of it in my life. I felt the lack of it in my day. And I was able to go back to that repeatable thing that's also dependable. Sit down and read a scripture a day. That gets me in the flow of sitting down, gets me in the flow of journaling, that gets me in the flow of spending time with God. Now I can scale it. I'm used to sitting down now. I'm used to being in my word now. Now I can scale it to something more. I can scale it to a chapter. I can scale it to like whatever it is that you want to do. I can scale it, right? Because now it's a small habit that can expand into something more. It can go deeper. So that is one of the things that you have to do. You have to choose your heart and get to work. And once you've outgrown the routine or you've gotten used to it, you can scale it. Have fun with it, play with it. Let your routines and your systems grow with you. The goal is not to stay the same and still just be moving or walking for 30 minutes every day for 2 years. Like, huh? No, at some point you're going to outgrow that and you're going to need something more intense. You're going to need something more demanding. So keep growing. The life of your dreams doesn't just appear, it is constructed daily in the disciplines and the systems that you carry out, even when motivation fades. Because it's going to disappear. Motivation goes away, but discipline is what you need. That is what you need to grow. You have to do the thing that you don't want to do because systems build. Goals inspire, but systems build. In this season, we're working on something. We are building an arc because the promise is coming, whether you're ready or not. And my goal is to be ready. And I want you to be ready too. All right. Everything doesn't have to be perfect. I've said it multiple times. I'm not going to stop saying it. Soft starts still count. Start with one routine. Start with one non negotiable task that aligns you with the future that you are praying for, the future that you see when you close your eyes, the vision of you that you think about every single day when you're at your job. Start with one routine that will get you closer to that. Okay? Discipline is not punishment, it is simply preparation. And what you do in practice, how you train, how you show up in practice, how you perform at the scrimmage is going to determine how you're going to show out and perform on game day or the lack thereof. Baby, I don't know about you, but I'm going to be ready. I'm going to be as close to ready as I can get. And if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready, but keep working because your dream life is already in motion. Let it meet you. Let it meet you in motion. The promise meets you in motion. It doesn't meet you when you're standing still. It meets you when you're in motion. So be ready. Stay locked in. All right. Be working on something because I know I am. All right. Until the next episode, always remember that where the spirit guides, the mind creates, and where the mind goes, the body follows. I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye.